Let's take a look at factorials today. What's a factorial? The factorial of a number is defined as the product of all positive numbers which are less than or equal to that number. Let's try to rewrite this. Now, mathematically, factorial is represented by this exclamation mark or the bang sign, and the way you say factorial of a number is, let's say if it's 10, you'd say 10 factorial, and that's how you would represent it. So 10 factorial means 10 times 9 times 8 times all the way down to 1. So n factorial is n times n minus 1 times n minus 2, and then so on all the way to 1. If you were to represent this mathematically as a function, you can look at it in this way. So you got n factorial as that. So if it was n minus 1 factorial, that would look like n minus 1 times n minus 2 times n minus 3, and so on all the way to 1. Now notice this part here is common to this part here. So we could take this formula and we can substitute that by n minus 1 factorial. So that gives us our function. So the function, if you were to represent this as a function, it would be f of n equals n times f of n minus 1. And that essentially is our factorial function. So let's write some Python code. Let's set the environment to Python, and let's call it fac of n, and the base case here will be if n equals 1, then return 1, else return n times fac of n minus 1. So let's see if this works. Print fac of 10 and run. We have the answer there. Fac 1 is going to be 1. So this is one way of doing this, and this is again an example of a recursive function, and its beauty is in its simplicity. If you were to write this as an iterative function, let's call it f2, one way of writing it would be something like this. Let's result, let's call the result res equals 1, and while n is greater than 1, res equals res times n, and then n equals n minus 1, and then return res. Let's see if that works. Fac 2 of 10, and let's change this to 10 as well. Yep, both of them give the same result. Now these are two ways in which you can write the factorial function. You can select, you can choose to use the recursive version, or you can choose to use the iterative version. That was a very quick tutorial on how to write a factorial function in Python. Hope you enjoyed it.